Absolute Rider.
Extreme!
No? Okay. Hi guys, my name is Milan and welcome back to another Tokulook, where this time we'll be continuing with the Gavv Tokulooks, starting off with the last arc. But, we're going to slow it down a little bit because there's a lot of episodes to go through, and I think it's best if we go about this in 3 parts. Starting off with probably the heaviest section, episodes 29 to 36. And yeah, let's just get straight into him. I'm definitely not the corners for the 6th time. Editor, don't let them see this. Let's start talking about episode 29. Oh, well, I will just say these 2 episodes that I'm going to talk about in this video, they flow quite nicely into each other, into sort of 2-parters. You could just watch some of these episodes on their own and you'll be fine. But what I like is that it doesn't force you to go straight into the next episode. It doesn't leave you in like the worst cliffhanger, compared to the other arcs in this show. So I quite like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna split 8 episodes into like 2 each. Starting off with episodes 29 and 30. Now, ever since we beat Sugar, well, I didn't, but ever since we beat Sugar, there's been a 1-month time skip. In the meantime, Shoma has yet again trying to prove to us that he is the ultimate part bastard. We can see that he's trying a lot of different foods via the help of Sachika, but Shoma, please, okay? You need to understand. You have a massive competitor on your hand, and they are called the fat fuck. Okay? You cannot compete. I don't know what you're thinking. You cannot defeat this man. At the same time, we also see Hanto giving some presents to 2 people. One of them being Rakia, for helping out Shoma during the time of their little divorce. Okay, he gives him some rocks, because he likes rocks, and Rack is honestly unamused. He couldn't care less, and Hanto's not that appealed by that, but we'll get to those 2 a little bit later. Anyway, he also goes to Dente to thank him for making this driver for him and allowing him to fight alongside Shoma with against Sugar. And he gave him some cookies. I don't know if he ate the whole thing, but I did. I just hope he didn't. Like, I remember last time he ate like a packet of crisps and he ate the packet as well. Like, bro, I know you're hungry, but like, calm down. Speaking of Rakia, he does move in to Sugar's place. Now, I definitely do not believe it's because they have to still use the set, guys. I definitely don't believe that's the case. I just find it funny, but it seems quite cozy for him, so I don't blame him in that regard. Now, what I like about the start of this arc is that we are moving things forward with some people that we haven't seen in a long time, specifically the Stomach family. Since we've been focusing on Sugar and the matters relating to that, I think it's time we go back into the family matters side. And we begin with seeing Jeep again. Yeah, that guy. So, it seems as though he has gotten married. Good for him. I don't. So why should I care? Well, he has gotten married to Farina. I mean Lizzle, and Lizzle is the daughter of the president of the Granules. So you can see that none of the 3 siblings are having any of this. They're just like, we're trying to have a meeting and you're just telling us this. I mean, not gonna lie, Jeep being a little diva here, I respect it. Guy just comes in like, hi guys, so I got married. And fuck you, cause I got married to the daughter of the president of the Granules, so you are fucked. And honestly, while I'm not not a Jeep supporter, but I respect it. I honestly, I respect it. I respect it. And we see that the president, his name is Boca, he comes in, and everybody's just on a high guard. They're like, hi, it's nice to meet you. We'll do our best, blah blah blah. And I think they're a bit fucked. All right. Now, I will mention in this specific episode, Sasuke is helping out some basketball team, and in my honest opinion, this is just some excuse for Raki's actor to show that he can play basketball. I guess I know he's tall, but like, come on, guys, like, so I just have to. I am obligated to say that they were balling. Okay, they were indeed balling. Editor, can you confirm they were balling? Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why they did that, but you know what? It was entertaining. I'm not gonna say anything else in regard to that. What I will say in episode 30 though, one of the things that I really like about that episode is the teamwork between the four characters that the four main guys that we follow. I love their interactions. They're at Sachiko's place and they're eating like food together, and then Hanto is trying to deduct how the victim got turned into a compress, the most likely place that they ended up in, and I think it's great. Again, just them interacting with each other is what I needed, and I think we deserved to see this after all that stuff that happened last arc. The four of them just hanging out like this, it was great. I loved it. I loved every second of it, and yeah, they deal with that, Granu, but in the meantime, what happens, again in the stomach family side. So I think it's in this episode. So Booker speaks with Lango, and he basically says to Lango, like, I'm like really good friends with the authorities. This dark confection stuff that you're doing, not gonna go sly with the authorities, but why don't I deal with this instead? To the point where Lizzle, his own daughter, now becomes the CEO of Stomach Inc., with Jeep being the vice president. And again, the siblings are having none of this. They are pissed, except for Neil. Neil doesn't care. He's just, as long as he can do his research, he doesn't care. But again, Lango especially is annoyed. But the thing I like about Lango in this section is you can tell he's pissed, but he doesn't show any emotion, right? Like, he's just like extremely stern-faced, and he's just you can see it in his eyes. He's just like, you're throwing hands right here. Also, one thing that I will mention about the episode 30 is that this is the first time we see a certain sweet shop owner. Shoma again is looking around some places where the victim supposedly could have gotten compressed, his route. And again, we meet the sweet shop owner. Why? I don't know, guys. I have not seen the show. I don't know why we're focusing on this character, but just saying. I think it's kind of interesting. Anyway, this is where we move on to episodes 31 and 32. Again, that two-parter was just getting up to speed with what's been happening in the meantime, and now we're getting onto some present-day stuff. Starting off with Hanto and Raki having some great bonding time. Now, I don't know what I prefer more. Do I prefer the funny side of episode 31, or do I prefer the more serious side of 32? I can't decide, because I think both episodes are quite great. So in 31, we see that Raki and Hanto, they do not get along that well. They are working, they are colleagues, right? But they are not nakama. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so they don't get along that well. They're bickering between each other every now and then. And this leads to a situation where the Granyu that they're fighting sticks their hands together. And this leads to some quite funny scenes, okay? I love slapstick comedy. We have things falling onto their faces, them falling down. I think it was quite hilarious. But, I'm not gonna lie, the funniest thing that happens in this episode is when, so they're at Sachiko's place, and Sachiko's... You gonna let me? Okay, so, like I said, they're at Sachika's place, and Sachika's trying to help them out, getting rid of this sticky substance that they have, on their hands. And she tries to chainsaw, doesn't work. She even attempts to detonate a bomb in front of him, and then she's like, "Whoa, ho, ho, ho. Sachika, let's calm down a little bit. let's hold our horses down." Um, and in that conversation, again, they're just bickering between each other, and Raki says, "Man, you're stupid, man." And he's like, "What do you mean I'm stupid?" And he's like, "Well, you you let Sugar do do all this stuff without having an idea what he's doing. He didn't realize that he had all these clones, in the back, and you also couldn't tell apart Shoma and clone Shoma's Gabu. And while he was saying all these scenarios, he had like a bubble. He held it and he just threw it at him. And I just thought it was hilarious. Such a good episode. So yeah, we have that part right. And towards the end of the episode is when we start to get a bit more serious. So the monster of the week, they create a sort of slash mark on the street. And Rakia has a bit of a flashback. He thinks that this slash mark is quite similar to the mark that Komo got when he died. This leads to Hanto and Rakia have a bit of a one-to-one between each other, telling their own stories. The fact that, again, Hanto lost his mum, and it took him 18 years to find out the whole truth about the situation. And then obviously Rakia with his whole thing with his brother and how that is affecting him. And I think it was great. It makes sense that they didn't know this about each other. Like, Shoma had no sort of right to saying all this stuff between one another. So I think it was great for them to have this conversation now, and it led to some great bonding, which I thought is what mattered the most in here. And this leads to in the fight they have like the monster there shooting out all this sticky liquid or soft stuff, alright, and Hanto is taking it all in. Please. Raki is like, "What are you doing? Like, you're such an idiot. Like, why are you putting yourself in danger?" He's like, "I don't care. This is your moment. Like, I'm holding him down. You do your thing." I thought it was great. But while they do defeat him, ultimately Raki doesn't get the revenge that he has sought, unfortunately, and this is because the Granyu doesn't recollect any memory of killing off his brother, meaning that it was just a little bit of a coincidence, which is unfortunate on Rakia's part, but it's fine. At least we got some great bonding time between the two. Now, so while this was the main focus, let's talk about some of the other things that happened in the meantime. Speaking of, in episode 31, Little meets Fujimi-san. And no, it's not because of a black case, okay? So the actor played a role in this show first. He played like some servant slash like owner of this like antique shop, and Lizzle, in my mind I just keep thinking Farina. Lizzle basically said that she wants the whole shop, and I don't know the guy's name in the show, so I'm just gonna call him Fujimi-san. He's like, "So how much you gonna pay?" And she's like, "Money. Why should I pay for it?" Like, so sassy, like, low-key a diva, I'm not gonna lie. But she was like, so against paying for any of this. She was like, "I'm not having any of this, so what are you on about?" He nearly gets killed off, not gonna lie, because she sends out some butler. But Shoma is just there in time to save Fujimi-san, and this is how he then had a premonition. Extreme! Oh, wrong character, sorry. Speaking of Shoma and Lizzle, in episode 32, they have a chat. So we see that they're at this like fancy restaurant, I don't know. So they're like having a chat, and Lizzle literally says, "I don't like the fact that you guys treated Jeep so in such a mean way, but at the same time, him being so broken made him such a fantastic toy for me to use. So honestly, I don't mind." And Shoma just like, and they thought I was the weird one. She literally said, "You know what? Break his mind more. It'll soothe my mind." again, I don't know what's wrong with this woman, but she needs to get some gears connected in her head because this makes no sense to me. Um, and also she states that she doesn't think of humans as anything worthy. She was literally just gonna kill off some random couple with her magic umbrella. Okay, Shoma was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, she was low key threatening him. She's like, "Are you sure you want to do this here? Cause I'm not gonna hold back." And Shoma's like, "Fuck." So yeah, he was put into a corner, and I like the threat that she has, the threat that she has made towards him. She's threatening. She is, quite convincing in the words that she says. Um, as as an introduction to this character, I think it works. I think it's done quite well. So now again, what I like about the show is you have like these two episodes that kind of connect into a two-part story, and then you also flow. Yes. You have some sort of connection to the next section of the story, and especially with 32, you see this because Boca, he has this supporter of his, some upper class bum boy, who is eating this dark confectionery, and he mentions the fact that he endorses stuff, and Boca's like, well, unfortunately, we may be running out of this, and the supporters are like, oh no, good heavens, oh hell no, so we need to fix this, and Neil comes in and he's like, no problem.
Jesse, stop touching my balls!
No problem. So this is where we lead on to episodes 33 and 34, which is where we meet Morgan. Okay, Morgan is the supporter that I just mentioned, and he has a certain Gabu. He has the bitter Gabu. So we see that Neil has been working on the technology, the technology that Sugar has been working on. He turns into another version of bitter Gavv. Although it's literally just Kamen Rider Bake. He uses the same Gochizo as well. I like the suit, but like, come on, it's just lazy. he is quite threatening. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't help the fact that again he's an upper class Granyu, so he has strong abilities, just as just being a Granyu himself. And then also on top of that, he is quite strong in his Bitagabu form. He's way stronger than any of the Bitagavs that we've seen before, and he is quite a threat. Especially, I'm gonna say this word a lot. He's quite a menace towards the Granyu hunters. He shows off towards Hantu at first, and this is when Hantu then informs the rest of the group that things are going on right now. So they need to, get at this guy as soon as possible. The group is a bit worried, so they have Sachiko go to Dente just to see what is happening. Now I will mention, Neil meets Dente after, however long Dente has left the Stomach family, and he goes to him and he says, the traitor of the Stomach family, nice seeing you again, so come back, work with us, technology and that. And Dente's like, no. He basically states that he wants to be by Shoma's side, he doesn't believe in what the Stomach family stands for right now, and he just wants to do what is right. And Neil's like, okay, do as you wish. And he's extremely worried by this. So he believes that he doesn't have a lot of time left and he needs to make the most of it, which is why he goes out of his way to make something. I'm not going to mention it just yet. So this is where we move on to present time. Sachika sees a dead Dente, he was just sleeping, and we see that he has no teeth. I swear he had like 6 of them left, but anyway, he had no teeth. Dente begs Sachika to not tell Shoma what he's been working on. We can see that he worked on a certain item for him to use, saying that this is an upgrade for him and he should use it because, again, he wants to be of use for him. He wants to do something for him because he cares about him now. And again, I like this. He came full circle in this moment, right? Again, he was basically hiding. He didn't want to associate himself with anything. He then meets Shoma and he realizes his wrongdoings, and he wants to make up for it. and I feel like with the little that he's done, he has done his best. I feel like, and you can see the effort that he's put into it, right? So he states to Sachika that usually he would use granular materials to make this thing, but because he is in the human world and doesn't want to return to the granular world, he had to, you know, it had to result in him using his own teeth, which is, again, I like how desperate he feels in the situation. So yeah, and this is where we are introduced to the Gochi pod. So yes, I do have this. I am missing the Blizzard Soul Bay Gochizo. Okay, it's extremely annoying to find. Think of it as like Fang, the memory. So yeah, I'll try my best to find this toy. It's so annoying right now. But anyway, we see the debut of this item, and Shoma is trying to use it, but you know, doesn't work. And we find out that for it to work, we need 100 Gochizo to power up this item. And once that happens, Shoma turns into Overgab.
Listen.
Now, not gonna lie, I've been quite positive about the show throughout the time that I've been talking about all these episodes in these videos, but I will say I think this debut is okay. It's just okay, and there are stakes for it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Morgan again is a strong character in the way he's portrayed, but the problem is he is an extremely Who character, right? He has he has no stakes in terms of the cast, in terms of like relatability, right? He's just a guy, right? He just got introduced like on that day, and he's like he has nearly killed them off. Like, come on, because this guy is just so random. He doesn't serve a like much of a purpose in the story. In that sense, it doesn't feel as earned for Shoma to acquire this new power up, right? And this is where we'll talk about a different form in the next two-parter, which I feel like is a better debut. But again, I don't mind it. It's just not my favorite debut for the final form. I just think it's just so the actual suit itself, lovely, and I like the power set. He does a finisher on him, on Morgan, and he blows up like a whole mountain with it. It's crazy. I love the power set. With this power set, he's unable to control it that well, and again, because he has to use 100 Gochiso, this has depleted him of a lot of power. Okay, so to make up for it, in the next episode, first of all, Morgan survives just by a tiny fraction. Okay, this little pussy. And again, Neil is just like extremely pissed because he's like, so you're telling me that this thing that I worked on, that you stole, I'm getting fucked over now. But anyway, Shoma and the group, the gang, they are making all this food. They're having him eat all these things. He even goes to the sweet shop. Again, why is he seeing this guy?
I can't, Mr. White. It feels good, bitch.
He buys a lot of stuff, and he's trying to make 100 Gochizo. Now, this leads to a conversation towards him earning the 100 Gochizo. He is having trouble producing, the final set. Why? So, remember, at the start of the show, especially, Shoma produces a Gochizo when he feels passion, right? Like, he eats a lot of food, right? But especially when he is passionate about eating a certain food, especially the way it's textured, the way it tastes, he creates his own inner world, and he fantasizes about the food that he's eating, and that, that motion creates these gochizo. And once he started eating a lot of these foods throughout the night, he stopped feeling this passion. And I think it's nice. I like that sentiment. Again, it just shows that he's just not eating. Like, obviously that is a stake, right? Like, he's trying to eat this because there's like this guy like about to destroy a city. But at the same time, the whole purpose of like him making the gochizo, like his whole journey, is because of his passion for food, which then relates to his time with his mum and how she will talk about her favorite food. So again, it comes back full circle, and he's eventually able to create those last few gochizo, resulting in a really good fight scene. I'm not gonna lie, we have a lot of teamwork. Again, teamwork at its peak right here. We have Rakia and Hunter, who are like, they are here, the Magans like here, and they're trying their best to hold him down. So they come up with a plan. They're basically holding him down, pushing him towards Shoma so they can unleash his final attack and beat him to bits. And it was extremely difficult. Like, they tried their best, but eventually they did get him, and that threat was gone. Again, in that sense, because it's just a 2-episode character, the Over Gavv debut wasn't as strong because of it, right? But I did enjoy the fight. I did enjoy the episode with the group just making food, and Dente's whole thing of his reasoning behind making the gochi pod. So it has saved it in that regard. But in terms of the stake and the reason why he got it, outside of Dente, it didn't work for me fully. Okay, I just have to be honest in that regard. Which is then when we move on to episode 35 and 36, which I really enjoyed. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Lango is in charge of making dark confectionery. Why? Well, Boca says, let's make 10 million compressors. And everybody's like, how? Like, are you crazy? Like, have you seen our like business? Like, we don't do this. We don't do this. And he's like, well, we are. We are. And Lango's like, alright, scorched earth, okay, I'll do it, no problem. And he's being quite clever about it. So they used the toxin. I'm going a bit ahead with like stuff, but it will make sense in the grand scheme thing. So they used Rakia's toxin in the form of a gas to paralyze these humans, which will make it easier for them to be compressed. And they do it at massive venues. They do it at yachts. They do it in a plane. The next thing that they were going to do was a concert. Again, extremely smart in that regard. Like, you get a lot of compressors, and with the toxin from Rakia, it'll work for the dark confectionery. So yeah, like, really great in that regard. Since the last episode, Shoma has made 300 gochizos. 300 gochizos. Yes, eaten a lot of stuff. Hashtag fat fuck. Now, we do meet an old character. Okay, we see, I think, what's his name? Ritsu? Thanks. We see her again, and she is obsessed with some band that wears horse masks. Okay, now the first thing that I thought when I saw this was, that's not Man with a Mission. I know they wear horse masks, but that's not Man with a Mission. Shout out, okay? So she wants to go to a concert of theirs, and she wants to make the ultimate fan attire. So Satka's like, I got you. I love the scene because Shoma's like, I just love the dynamic with these characters, man. So they go out to the shops, they get all these tools and stuff, and it's great. Like, I don't know. Again, I just like these characters. Okay, I'm repeating myself in that regard, but I just like. I just think they're fun. It puts a smile to my face when I see them do just like small things like this. So yeah, just a big thumbs up for me. Actually, like small haul. So yeah, and like I said, we see these massive disappearances, which leads us to the trio going to a plane, which is where they see Lango, and Lango is he's let loose. Okay, he does not care anymore because he honestly has no choice, right? Like he's basically like Booker's holding his balls. I'm not gonna lie. Like he is under pressure in this situation, so he has no choice but to just go all out, which is where we finally see his power set. He's able to create these like auto shields around him, basically making him impenetrable, and he is putting up like really good fight, like a lot of good action between the characters. Like without being transformed, he they can't even scratch him. And even when Shoma turns into over Gavv, bro, like nothing. It like while there was, it felt like there was some sort of hope, but nothing. Honestly, nothing. So this leads to a scene that is that made me speechless when I saw it. So we see Lango's side of how he sees the Stomach family. He mentions, the day that his dad brought over baby Shoma. He basically says, "Hey guys, so that's your new sibling, and if you do anything to them, you are fucked." And I just like, "Dad, what, are you crazy? These are like our like ingredient." And he's like, "I'm not discussing this. Shalom." And yeah, they just leave. You can see like Lango has been seeing this guy as like as a massive pussy, such a crybaby, as a worthless nobody. He honestly just sees him as livestock. He's confused as to why this has happened to him, why he had to care about him. Like he just seems as a nothing, like as a fucking nothing. Okay, and he literally says that he should have never been born. Like, he should have been never fucking born. Okay, like at this point, this guy could have just sworn at him, and it would have made the same implication. Like this guy should have never been fucking born. And Shoma's not having any of it, right? He's just like, "No, you're fucking wrong." And again, he's trying to put up a fight with him, but he can't even put a scratch on him. And this is where we see transformed Lango, his brand new form, looks pretty good. And yeah, like we end off the episode with that, right? I'll talk about this in a second, but like this Lango guy, like it's him finally saying how he feels about Shoma is woo insane. I mean, he doesn't seem as a being. He doesn't seem as a sibling. He just sees him as a thing that should be used for like as an ingredient for food that people are eating in the back, like just an item. He sees him as an item. These people are not real. I don't. I mean, they are not, but these people are like so horrendous in the way they treat this guy. Like he did nothing to them. Literally, like he did nothing to them. So I don't understand why they have to go about this in this way. This is where we lead on to 36. We have a lot of things happening. Okay, I will say one thing that I forgot to talk about. Rakia, he has a bit of a heart-to-heart between Hanto and Shoma, and he says, "Does Sachika know about the fact that I used to work for the Stomach family and that I used to make a lot of compressors?" And again, it is not for them to say that. They say, "You know what? This feeling that you have, this guilty feeling that you have, hold it in your heart, because this is what's driving you forward. This sense of guilt that it makes you feel like you have something to fight for." And I thought it was great. I love this conversation. And again, you can see that he's feeling guilty. He wants to make things right. And yeah, like he even goes out to Dente to ask for an antitoxin for the toxin that he has in the side of his body. Which again, he's trying to make up for all this stuff. I just love it. I think it's great. Which is why we move on to episode 36, continuing with trying to make things work. Hanto says to the trio, "I think we should finally tell people about the granules just a little bit." And, as a writer himself, he leaves out some articles for people to read and about the existence of these riders because he wants humans to be cautious, especially in a crisis like this, to be aware that things are not going the right way. I think it's the most suitable solution to this. Like, we have had disappearances for so many years, and now we are at an all-time high. with the amount of disappearances that have been happening, and I think it's finally time for them to know at least a little bit about what is happening. And now this leads to a little bit of controversy, unfortunately because of Morgan and Clone Shomas. It makes it seem like the writers are not, you know, the nicest of people. So we have like, when you're watching this episode, you feel like, oh no, like this might have been a bad idea. But luckily, we have this whole segment which I love, man. It's so nice. Like there's this whole second half of this episode is just so great. Um, so again, I think his name is Ritsun. So Sachika says to her like, "Look, I don't think we should go to this concert. Like, you might be taken out as like a compress." And she basically says, "No, I want to see these guys. Like, in my lowest of lows, they made me feel good. It's like a nice kind of moment for her. Like, just and it's just like a nice thing for like someone to watch. Like, no matter how you've been feeling, especially when you've been down, they would like something has always been there for you. I think it's a great message." And she also says, the writers will probably save me because I believe in them. And this makes Shoma and the trio a little bit happy. But Hunter also shows a tablet to Shoma, and it's all the messages from all these random people that have been reading the articles about the riders. And they say, I thought these guys were monsters, but I believe in them. They have been helpful. They have saved so many people, and all these kind of messages. And we even have, I forgot his name, the audacity that I have forgotten this guy's name. The guy's mom, the kid that Shoma saved in the first episode. She even responds saying, I was scared of him at first, but I cannot be thankful enough. He has done so much for me. He has saved my son. Shout out to the Kamen Riders. They're great. And again, as a Toku fan, as someone that watched Showa, this is the kind of message that I want, not just children, this is what I want everyone to see. I want this segment of, no matter what things may seem like, there is someone that can always like help you out with, someone that is out there to protect you. And it doesn't have to be some caped hero, it doesn't have to be some guy with a mask. It can be your parents, it can be your dear friend. Like, someone is out there to save your day, someone is out there to give you a bit of a smile. And I think that's what matters, and I think that's what Ryder, in my opinion, means to me, at least. Like, especially from what I've gotten from it. And I think in this episode, it feels quite close to heart. But it doesn't feel as close to heart as what's gonna happen later. But like, again, I like this message. It doesn't feel like a lot, but just this little bit, it can mean a lot to someone. And I think that's what's the most important thing to note out here. And this is where we move on to the conversation between Shoma and Lango. Again, he. Sorry, I need to recover.
Recovery.
Sorry, I have hay fever. Shoma and Lango have a one-to-one, and he basically says, "Hey Lango, so that stuff that you said yesterday, rough, rough words, and honestly, I do not care that you guys think of me as useless, that you guys think of me as a nothing, because at the end of the day, as me, the showman that you are seeing right now, I am grateful to be living this life. I am beyond pleased that I am in this world and that I am able to visualize and connect with all these people and experience so many things in this life that I've attained." And what a great message. Like, again, we saw Shoma struggle so much with his identity. He didn't know what he wanted to do in life. And after coming to his mum's world, he finally has come appreciative of his life. He appreciates the time that he has spent with his family, and family like as his friends, right? He has enjoyed his time trying all these foods which connect him to his mum, and he has saved people that he doesn't know personally, but he has given a smile to people somehow, and he just appreciates being in this world, and he will not have anyone take him down for it. Good for you, Shoma. Honestly, good for you. After all this, the world does not me to speak. After all the things that you have gone through, good for you, man. I wish you nothing but the best. I want you to strive and beat the heck out of this Tong family because they don't deserve anything that you are trying to achieve in this world. And the Gochizo are in tears. Honestly, they are in tears to the point that all those tears flip the gravity of the Gucci pod and turn it upside down. I honestly just want to believe that's the case. But anyway, this is where we get the debut of Master Gavv.
Vision.
And this is the debut that I was talking about, okay? This is a Final Form debut. Again, the main character coming full circle. He finally feels happy in his life and he has a sense of belonging. He has something to strive for. That comes with this form debut. And this form is so sick, man. I have to talk about this fight. Like, I'm honestly gonna be like just gushing over this form because of the things that it does with Gavv. So, first of all, they can interchange with each other, which is great because Master Gavv is quite a speedy form. But because of his speediness, he doesn't pack a punch. No pun intended. So, because of this, when he's trying to speed up against Lango, he just in time switches to Gavv to unleash a massive burst of energy to the aura shield that Lango is creating, even to the point that he tries to punch him when he has no shield active, and he does land a mark on him, and it's amazing. I love this fight so much. So many speedster like aesthetics going on. It works, and oh my god, I have to talk about this shot. The shot where they are like this flat, right, and Shoma is holding the Chocodon gun, and he's just like, oh, so swag. This guy is so much aura, man. I love it. And eventually, he finally defeats Lango. And oh my god, I was in tears when Jeep, he was like, Lango's dead as well. I was like, bro, like, are you dead ass? Basically, I know I didn't talk about this, but he throws out a note saying that the concert is where Lango is going to strike next. And I don't know what like G was like thinking. Like, was he thinking that they were both gonna die? Does he think that Lango was gonna win? But do not disrespect Shoma. You've disrespected him so many times, and you do not realize the aura that Shoma has. Like, I'm sorry, like you're just not him. Okay, so, but yeah, like such a good debut of Final Form, man. But to be honest, guys, all of that I said does not matter because you should watch those episodes yourself and let me know what you think in the comment section below. I have talked for too long. My mouth is dry. I should buy some sparkling water. Reference to my old videos. I will see you guys in part 2. See you guys.